Hi there, and welcome to another Geek Out with Perry on the New Exchange. In the past, we've discussed numerous archiving topics, including what we've done with archiving, e-discovery, and search, and how we might extend this in the future with Federation. Well, the future is now, and we'd love to share some insights into how we've evolved the New Exchange. Hi, Perry.
Hey, Ann.
So search has changed in the New Exchange, so what's new?
Well, we're very excited. The big change is we've integrated the fast search technology into Exchange. So probably the biggest benefit is the users of OA and Outlook Online are going to get much faster search results. Okay. The faster search results also allow us to do sort of real-time suggestions while you're typing, and also a much richer set of refiners and some UI that automatically pops up as soon as you start typing in the search well. So overall, we think the end user experience around search is a lot better.
So if search is better, does it change the way we do content indexing?
Yes. There are two ways it's improved. One is the core indexing technology that's part of FAST is dramatically improved over the technology we've been using in previous releases.
Okay.
But there's a part of indexing that is less about the complex work necessary to be able to do a reverse index, but is just the sheer brute force work that needs to be done to get the list of words out of a document, discover its language, and also understand the kind of document you're doing. All right.
Okay.
So you can sort of think of the processes. First, you need to have a piece of logic that can understand the different type of documents you've got, like a PDF or a Word document or an Excel document,
okay,
or an email, right? And these things we call filters, okay? And their job is to understand a particular document.
Okay.
So we detect the kind of document, we apply the right kind of filter. Then you do language detection.
Okay.
Okay. The I filter understands the document. It can send the language stripped of all the non-language parts to the next step in a standard format. Then we have to do language detection on it. And then after you do language detection, then there's an important thing that does, it's called word breaking.
Okay.
All right. In some languages, this can be very complex to do because they don't just use straightforward spaces. But even in English, there's often complex rules about what is a word, and in particular because in search, you don't necessarily always want to just be able to type in, worry about all the endings that could be on a particular word, right? You need to be able to think about, there's the core word and the things you put at the beginning and the end.
Okay.
And you want to be able to separate those things out.
Okay.
So this takes an awful lot of CPU time to get done on a document because you have to go through and look at all the content, okay? In previous releases, we would do most of this work in transport because they were, in transport we do a bunch of content-based rules for policy and other rules, right? So they need to understand the content of the message, which means they need to do all of this prior to delivery. So they get the message and they do that, and then they deliver it to 3 different mailbox servers. Okay? And once we deliver to 3 mailbox servers, then we replicate to all the replicas. Right? And in the old system, we would do this again on each server because each server needed its own index.
Okay.
So we would
go through the entire process.
And then if you ever needed to move a mailbox around, or you lost a database, you would need to rebuild the index, which means you need to repeat this whole thing. So you could think of repeating this, you say, times 2 times every year, you might want to move something, right? And the messages might live for an average of 3 years, right? So, and there's 3 here, and there's 4 servers, right?
Yep.
So that's a large number of times that you're going to index it, and you've already done it once.
Okay.
So the big shift that we made was we decided that it was now, with the size of disk spindles getting larger, that it was much more efficient from a total cost of ownership perspective to persist the endpoint of this word-broken document and just the list of words in the document, and persist as part of the body of the message in the document. And then you do this, so you do all this calculation once. When it gets delivered, it just gets saved, so you don't have to redo it again. HA is going to replicate the content as part of the body of the message, so that happens. And then MRS, when it moves a mailbox, will also maintain this stuff. And this is a fairly substantial percentage of the total cost of indexing an individual message, is just getting it ready to being able to be analyzed for the reverse indexes in the content index. So overall, we think there's sort of 70 or 100 times reduction in the number of times that a message is going to get filtered and word broken. And that's a pretty substantial reduction in the total cost of ownership for the system.
Oh, great. So instead of doing it all these many times, you're just doing it once.
Correct.
And keeping
at
it.
the initial transport point.
So the search improvements are really, really great for the end user. So how does this improve our e-discovery story?
Well, I think it's one of the great aspects of the approach we've taken, which is all the work that we've put into making fast searches really fast, using fast technology, is completely leveraged for discovery scenarios. If you're doing e-discovery queries across a large number of mailboxes, latencies become even more important than just doing searches on a particular folder in your mailbox. So we think one of the really big wins is that we get much faster response on queries across the board.
Okay.
Also, both SharePoint and Exchange have made the bet on integrating fast technology into the servers for this release. So it's made it very straightforward for us to create a single console that allows us to do discovery across both SharePoint and Exchange from one place and get your query results in one place. And that also includes all your link data, because the link team has done all the work to make sure that there's a very straightforward process to set it up so that all your link content gets archived in Exchange. So now, at the end of the day, you got one place to do your queries, you get it back fast and quickly, and get a full result set. And you don't have to manage multiple systems to do this. The fact that you have Exchange and SharePoint deployed and Link deployed automatically means you've got a great e-discovery and compliance system at your disposal.
Okay, so when you're doing a query in the e-discovery center for Exchange and for SharePoint, all that data stays within Exchange and stays within SharePoint, correct?
Correct.
So do you have to put things on hold to be able to do searches across this, or how does that work?
Right. So in previous releases, hold was mostly restricted to be sort of mailbox wide. If you got in a situation in which you needed to worry about being absolutely sure about retention because of a legal hold situation, you would place a whole mailbox on. You could do that for a period of time, but the granularity was a mailbox. One of the great things that's coming with this release is sort of integrating the queries that we're doing through FAST and enabling a much more granular hold experience in something that we call query-based hold. So if you do a query, you can actually set a policy so that any items that match that query get retained for the period of time that you would like. Okay, so it's time-based, but it's also granular to the sense that only the items that match a particular legal matter get retained. So I think that's a much better way of making sure that the stuff that needs to be retained is retained without retaining a lot of things that you don't want to retain.
Okay, so now I can do a query and I can do it across Exchange, and if I have SharePoint, across SharePoint and Link, and the data stays in place.
That's correct. You don't have to move the data out, and you don't have to build new systems. It's all there, it's all managed. You've got the high availability system providing you with the confidence that the data is going to be there at the end of the day. And you're exercising the system on a regular basis. You have a lot of confidence that the system's working.
Thanks, Perry, and thanks for watching. We hope customers are going to love managing e-discovery across Exchange, SharePoint, and Link from a single interface. Let us know if you have questions for Perry, and keep on watching.